An NFL Saturday doubleheader, some relatively exciting games, right? The Chiefs trying to lock down a bye in the playoffs, and then you have the AFC South on the line, Jaguars Titans. Nobody wanted to see it on Sunday Night Football, but it's good enough for Saturday Night Football. So that's what we're looking at. No house advantage. We're breaking this down as far as playing versus the house is concerned and some of the props that they have up there. Give us a like, subscribe, keep up with all of our shows, our DFS offers. And once you do subscribe, hit that notification button. That's going to give you alerts when our shows go live. I'm Pete McCarthy with you here on our Odds Shopper YouTube channel. And let's get into Trevor Lawrence. Looking at an under here, it's a big line, 265.5 passing yards for Lawrence. This Titans offense is really what I'm looking at. The defense, they're very good at stopping the run. We know it's a relatively good defense for the Titans, but what do the Titans want to do? They want to drag you down into a mud bowl kind of game and feed Derrick Henry the ball 30 times. Does that sound like the kind of game where you're going to get the opposing quarterback throwing for close to 300 yards? No. And as good as Trevor Lawrence has been over the second half of this season, it's just hard for me with the expectations for what this game is that Lawrence is going to be pushed to throw for 270 plus yards. Typically, you see both quarterbacks kind of go together up and throw for a lot of yardage, or they're both unders. And I think you're looking at an under here for Trevor Lawrence with the number just being that high. So our projections have this as a very strong under, and one that you definitely should be looking at playing versus the house, where you don't typically see this kind of edge playing versus the house. But I think this makes sense both from a projection standpoint as well as, just looking at what we're expecting in this game. The over-under for this Jaguars-Titans game is 40 points. Not expecting a ton of points. We're not expecting these teams going up and down the field. So as good as Trevor Lawrence has looked over the second half, this is just too many yards. And then you could look at his receivers, pair them all together. You want to have some things that correlate, right? You could look at Zay Jones and get under on him at 56.5 receiving yards. Take a look at Christian Kirk. You can look at Evan Ingram. Try to get under on some of those guys as well, so that, hey, we're under on the Jags passing game. That's one part of the game that we have to get right, and we can hit maybe 3 parts of this ticket, right, to try to hit 5 and get 20 times your entry fee. I'll tell you more about that no house advantage. If you haven't signed up, do so using the link below, and you can get a $100 deposit match. So when you deposit $100, they'll give you another $100 to play with. And you can play in the pick'em contest, $5,000 to first place today there, or you could play versus the house. And you could put 2 together, 3 together, 4, whatever you like on a given day. If you do 5 out of 5 and you hit all 5, you get 20 times your entry fee, which you really just don't see anywhere else. Something to take advantage of, especially with these NFL games where you can put things together that correlate. So you have a stronger chance of making that happen. If you like NBA, golf, NHL, whatever you have knowledge in, you can mix those in on your selection as well. One thing I like about the pick'em contest, and I know we're talking about playing versus the house, but keep in mind, there's usually a lot of overlay in these pick'em contests. There's more money going out to the winners than there is going in to no house advantage. That's always something that you want to rush towards when you see that kind of overlay. And we'll see. There's not usually NFL games on Saturday. I'm kind of curious how much overlay there will be today. Kickoff in the first game is at 4:30 Eastern time. So, about 4 o'clock Eastern time, you go in there, check it out, and see how things are looking. As far as putting together our ticket for playing versus the house, I do like Derrick Henry in this game. And while I'm telling you, I'm going under on the Jaguars, their passing game, I like the over as far as Derrick Henry goes specifically here versus the house. In the pick'em contest, Henry's line is almost about 10 rushing yards higher at 96.5 rushing yards. I think he's a terrific play because we know Derrick Henry is going to see a ton of carries in this game. I'm not expecting a ton of points. I'm not expecting, the Jaguars to bury the Titans and be up by 3 or 4 touchdowns where Joshua Dobbs has to throw the ball a ton in the second half. The Titans want to make this a brawl. They want to make this a grinded out affair. There will be ample opportunity for Derrick Henry. And what's great about Derrick Henry is not just a guy who dives into the pile and pushes it for 5 yards. Break off big plays. We've seen it time and time again. So you also have that other way of getting there where let's say it is a game flow that maybe we're not expecting. If Derrick Henry only gets, say, 15 carries, he does still have the ability to get to 97 rushing yards in this safety. But again, it fits in what we're expecting in this game. The Raiders-Chiefs game, I think it's a little harder to have a feel. The overs are much more playable in this game. There's going to be a lot more points. That's what Vegas is expecting. The over-under, 50. I do think that the Chiefs are going to want to be careful. It's not that they're playing for nothing. They're playing for that bye in the first week of the play. They're going to want to go all out. I don't think they'll have to go all out to beat the Raiders here. Jarrett Stidham at quarterback is good against San Francisco. We'll see if Josh Jacobs plays in this game too. But Patrick Mahomes, I look at the rushing yardage at 14.5. Patrick Mahomes is not fighting for a ton of yards on the ground. Is he capable of getting 15 rushing yards where the C's open up and he could run untouched for a while? Sure, but he's not putting his shoulder down. He's not going Josh Allen on anybody today. Generally doesn't do that anyway. I'm expecting Patrick Mahomes to force the issue with his legs in this game. So I like the under here on 14 rushing yards. This is project that it is just a feel for what the Chiefs' mission in this game is. They want to emerge healthy and ready to go into the postseason. They want to win the game, obviously, no doubt about that. But I don't think this is the kind of game where they're going, all out to win. I think that they'll be careful with Kadarius Toney in this game, and I think they'll be careful or tell Patrick Mahomes, be careful, don't take unnecessary risks when we're 2 weeks away from starting up the NFL playoffs. At least they would be with the bye. Lineup Generator. If you play a DFS contest, it's a great tool for you over at Stokastic.com. It's included in our DFS packages. It's going to allow you to put together some lineups that can be very contrarian for GPPs, have a lot of projectable players for cash games where you're not so much worried about ownership rates. You could cycle through. You see a lineup that you like, boom, you save it, and you could mass enter it into contests afterwards. Really cool. Going to save you a lot of time than obviously these things manually. And it's a little smarter than some of the other optimizers that you might see out there. So be sure to mess around with it. We also have some new features, including player swap, which you can read about and check out. So a really cool thing that's part of our DFS packages over at Stokastic.com. As far as No House, though, we got free projections at Stokastic.com. Take advantage of them for both the pick'em contests as well as playing versus the house. Best of luck on this NFL Saturday.